Okay, so I told you when I would have a problem I would show it, and I'm going to be true to my word. I have one farm that I've got issues with the corn that are warranting a replant. Yeah, I know, it's July 1st. July 1st. So I got the shortest day variety I could get, which was an 86-day variety. I'm not afraid of doing this for the simple reason, yes, I know it's going to have a diminished yield, but I had a replant protection on the seed that I bought. So with replant protection, it is like $100 a bag, which it equals out to be about $30 an acre to replant this field. Should easily be able to pull 110 bushels to the acre off of this thing, off of these. Yeah, easily between 100 and 130 bushels to the acre at this time of year with what I've got into that ground, because I can't let it set. It's got the residual, it's got the burn down, it's got the fertilizer, and it's got the fertilizer. So all the fertilizer, everything is there. Okay. When you have everything there, that really just means that if you don't replant it, you've lost. You've lost 100% everything that you had. And this field, slugs got me. I thought it was a little green beetle, the emerald ash borer, because all the ash trees are dead, and I saw them, tiny little things, you know. I think they were emerald ash borers, but they're gone now, and the corn, it isn't chewed off. It came up, it got about that high, and I believe the slugs ate it off. It's not cutworms, because no cutworms would have cut it off, and that would have been it, and I would have saw that 2 weeks ago. And that isn't what the problem was. So I'm going to get to the field. I'm driving the 7530. I do not have the GPS unit on this tractor. I'm just going to follow my old roads, and I'll show you as I go. 86-day corn, ladies and gentlemen, and you'll see what it can do at the end of the year. Okay, so this is a no GPS deal. And when I say a no GPS deal, I mean there's no GPS. And you can see that the corn is just absolutely pathetic. Trying to find your row is going to be a bitch, obviously. I don't know whether I'm in the right row or not. I may or may not be. It's going to be fun to combine this. I feel like a retard. Yeah, mentally retarded. Mental retardation. I mean, there's a lot of people think I am anyway, but yeah, so what was in here is reed canary grass, and reed canary grass, slugs just love reed canary grass, and honestly, that's really what happened. And you'll get into spots where there's absolutely no reed canary grass, and like along the edge there, no reed canary grass there, no slugs. I'm seeing some drought stress there though, which is kind of strange to me, but I can't even count rows right because I just don't feel right about it. Let's say we just do these. It's going to be a cluster F if you ask me. And reed canary grass is very hard to kill. Well, that is what you call living dead grass. It's dead, it don't know it. Oh yeah. Am I off by one? I might be off by 2. Anyway, no matter what I do here, it's gonna look terrible anyway, but whatever. Anybody that sees me doing this, it's replanting. Oh my God. Oh, it's no 4-row corn planter, and now is when I really wish I was using the old-fashioned method of markers. Yeah, markers would work really good. Am I where I want to be? I am now where I want to be. Cool. And that puts me 2 rows off. So somewheres, well, let me do this. I'll go 1 row off, and that way, no, now I'm where I belong. Yeah, it's always fun, right? Always fun on the funny farm. Holy smokes. I don't know where I missed those, but you just can't see where you've been in those no-till situations. But we'll see this fall, that's for sure. And we'll see what kind of a crap it is. I know I'm going to catch all sorts of stuff, but it's just this one field. It's this one field, and then over there on the other side of the ditch, there's like an acre that I have to do, and that is it. Yeah, see, now that's the issue. I'm thinking that, I think this is where I want to be. I can see my old tracks, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. From now on, I'm following my old tracks. Where I see 2 rows, that's where I'm dumping it. And that is, to be honest with you, right where I need to be. Excellent. It's a little funny because there's I believe there was an old house or a building in this field at one time, a million years ago, because there's nothing but rocks in there. And the previous, well, I guess his wife still owns this property. Well, she does. She's selling it, but they filled that with junk. I mean junk. There's old stuff in there. Old, just steel. Nobody knows it's there but me, really. But there's a lot of old scrap iron in there, and if I didn't know that it was going to China, I would scrap it. But because it's going to China, it can stay there. That's good old American steel that can rot back into American soil. Yeah, I know the Chinese are buying our grain and everything, but there's going to come a time when that American steel comes rolling on us, and it's kind of starting to scare me. Yeah, get right with the Lord, because the world is going to come apart at the seams. I'm not an overly religious person, but my wife, I think, is converting me in some way. Alright, let's see if I can make this corner without screwing up too bad. Let's see. And it won't take me long to do this. See, there's my 2 rows. Excellent. I don't know why I didn't think of that in the beginning. Okay, it doesn't matter. I'm actually excited about replanting this, because the other night, this is the field I came to. This was the first field. I thought this was going to be the best field. pH on this was the best, but the grass was the tallest, and I was really nervous about it. And you can see the health of that corn there is pretty okay in the row, if it wasn't for the wet ground that it was too wet when I planted it too. That was another thing. You can see that the residual gave out in the tracks here, so I'm going to give this a couple of days, and then I'm going to come back in and hit it with Roundup again and finish off all that green that's in there yet. And I'm pretty sure life will be pretty good after that. I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% sure. So, but anyway, I do have COVID-19. Timothy gave it to us. If you saw yesterday's video or the day before's video, where he sneezes directly on me and then sneezes again directly on me. It's just I love my son. I love him like no other, really. He's a special individual. Timothy is a special individual. And it's been a challenge at every turn of the page to teach him manners and other things like that. If you don't know my son personally, you would not know this, because I don't show it. Timothy's a special needs child. He is. He's a great man. He really is. He just has some quirks and things like that. Now, Timothy doesn't think he's a special needs child. He is. All through school, grade school, high school, preschool, kindergarten, all that stuff. Timothy had IEPs. I took him to special schools. Even while I was doing YouTube, I just never aired it. People say that I'm hard on Timothy. Yes, I'm hard on Timothy. There's a reason I'm hard on Timothy. It's because if you're soft on Timothy, Timothy will he will not respect you. You have to be hard on him. He's a great guy, don't get me wrong. I love him to death, I really do. But I guess this is really pretty much the first time that I've actually talked about Timothy. If you talk to Timothy about his life choices, like, hey Tim, it's really a good thing to be responsible, he will become more irresponsible. If you talk to Timothy about saving money, he will spend more. If it's just this opposite effect, and using reverse psychology on Timothy does not work. Timothy is immune to that. He is a very intelligent young man. He really is. He's super smart. The problem with him is he's limited by his abilities that make Timothy Timothy. That's why when I say something, and I cut a lot of stuff out with Timothy because I constantly am reinforcing with Tim hey Tim. When I say hey Tim, it's usually not because I'm trying to be funny on film. It's because I actually have to say that 45,000 times a day. My worry for Timothy later on in life, when I get old and eventually pass away, unless I get a debilitating disease, which scares me even more for Timothy, I worry. What's going to become of my son? I'm actually getting a little emotional. I can feel it because I don't want him to fail. I give him enough rope to hang himself, and he hangs himself every time. So when you're railing on me about Timothy, and I think I cut that out of the video that I just posted. When you're railing on me about Timothy, I said in that video, I believe I did cut it out, that I would send Timothy to your place for a day, and then you can call me up and I'll come and get him, because you have no idea. Nobody out there in the YouTube world has any idea the struggles that I have with that boy, and that I have had. You really need to break him down to the bare bones before he will understand what you're telling him. And it's kind of hard for me, and I probably won't even post this thing. It's just more or less for personal record. And if I do post it, it will be highly edited to not hurt his feelings, because he doesn't know that he has these problems. That's the amazing thing. And it's like, look, I boost him in every direction that I can. This field of corn that I'm planting, I would have gave it to him. Here, I'll help you grow a field of corn. All you've got to do is, take on the responsibility. I offered him 200 acres of ground this spring to grow corn, soybeans, or whatever. All you've got to do is put it in your name. You use my equipment. I'll help you. I'll help you. And his response was, no, I'm not doing that. He just doesn't have. He got a smile on his face, like, oh, my dad really wants me to do this. Fuck you, I ain't doing it. And it's not because. It's not that he doesn't. It's not that he doesn't know that it would be a really cool thing for him to actually grow, because he knows how to do this stuff. It's been taught to him all his life. He's 28 years old. It's that it would be good for him, therefore he can't have it. And why he's like that, I have no idea. He does actually remind me of his grandfather on his mother's side a lot. There are things that man did and still does today, and his attitude is my son Timothy. Yeah. And the crazy thing is, neither of them like one another at all. My ex-father-in-law asked me point blank, is he retarded? And my response was, no more than you. And because I know that Timothy shares a large bit of his personality with my ex-wife's father. And when he asked me that, I was highly offended, which I don't offend easily, contrary to what some naysayers on here believe. They think I'm thin-skinned. Well, let me tell you something. Come on down here, throw down some insults. I'll take them for a little while, but then you're going to take what I give you. And that's how I am, and I will give it to you. I'm from New Jersey. I don't give a fuck about your feelings. I never have, and I never will. But, and some of that goes into Timothy as well. I do see some of my son of me in my son as well, which is a good thing. I should see my son in me. It's, that's part of the raising children side of it. But as my wife says, them kids of yours are way more like your ex-wife than they are of you. And I do tend to agree that all three of those children have more of their mother's genes in them, and the way about them is of their mother's side, than any, by like 75% of their personality is their mother's side of the family. And, you know, could be bad, could not be bad. It might be good, might be bad, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how they turn out in the end, because there is a date in my mind when I want to turn this farm over to somebody other than myself. And, you know, my high hopes was that it was Timothy. My higher hopes was actually that it was Joe. And now that I have William, I do believe that it may possibly be William. Because he is, of all the children that I've had, all three of them, all four of my children, blood children. I had Peyton there for a while. He is not my blood child, but he's a good kid. Is that William is the most like myself and his mother. Ambition to do awesome things is with that kid. You know, he's just like always doing something, always wanting to do something, always curious, always has that drive. Whereas Timothy and Haley and Joe, they're just like, whatever. When am I able to go home so I can get dressed and go to the beach? And that's a kid thing to do. Not me. When I was a kid, yeah, I wanted to do those things, but it was instilled in me that the work needs to be done before we are able to do those things, the fun stuff. That's why when I leave this farm and go to the other side of the world, I don't want to know about the farm the whole 20, 25 days that I'm gone. Because I am on this farm for every single day of my life except for those 20 to 25 days. And that is my break time, that is my rest time, that is my unwind time, that is my mental health time, and I haven't had that in 2 years. Every one of my employees that bitched and whined and moaned and complained about their job and how, oh, it's work, it's always work with you. Just so you know, I'm here for over 2 years on this farm, running every aspect of it, not your small portion of it, but every aspect of this farm, 100%, with next to no days off. And when I did have those few days off, once in 2021 and again in 22, the same month, almost in a freaking day, both times turned out to be a major fiasco with the motorhome. And that ruined my break. I haven't had a break, guys. I haven't had a break anywhere. And here I am, happy as a lark. I don't regret my choices because they're my choices in life. And what I do hope is that come January, February, in that time frame, I will be able to say sayonara USA and take a 4-country tour if everything goes well with these crops. If they don't go well with these crops, then, well, I'll do it anyway, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, thanks for watching. My battery's gonna die. I'll see y'all later. Alright, it looks terrible. It looks awful. I'm back in here spraying. It doesn't look terrible. It doesn't look awful. It just looks like it needs heat. We need heat. You guys out in the Midwest, if you could send me some heat, I'd be really, really appreciative of that. Like really appreciative of that. We just don't have it here. It is now probably the hottest it has been all summer long, all June long, let's put it that way. And it's like 80 something right now. We have had like 3 days in June that touched 90. A skipper in my damn corn planter there. I knew that happened, but anyway, yeah, it's interesting to say the least. We have, I have a very, it's not stressed, it's not starved, it's shaded and cold and wet. That's why it's yellow like that. Once it busts out through this canopy of grass that I am now taking out, I'm hoping you guys can see the rows here. There are full rows. Everything works good. This is a DeKalb variety, or DeKalb. I guess a lot of guys picked on me about how I said DeKalb, DeKalb. It was always DeKalb when I was a kid. It's DeKalb now, but apparently it's DeKalb out west, and I didn't know. So DeKalb, or DeKalb, whatever you want to call it. That's what these varieties are, and I really like this variety so far for the abuse that it has taken in the abuse that it's taken in my Regen Ag path that I'm taking. Over there, that's warm season grass, and that is what you call a MNFer. It is a tough one to kill. So, but I was out there this morning. Me and Teresa came down this morning. There's some green. I had a little issue with the sprayer there. I was having problems with the sprayer on this field too. That's another reason why I'm down here again. Just trying to get everything where it needs to be. But yeah, we were down here this morning. I was a little disappointed in the first field, but we had a pile of hay there, and Dad and Tim took it away with a semi, and they ran over a portion of that field, and it made it look really, really bad. But in reality, it don't look bad at all. Somebody made a comment that my GPS sounds like a sick goat or something. I thought that was kind of funny. But yeah. So anyway, let's hopefully that thing kicks back in, and we should be running the same line, which we are. Yeah, and I hate running corn over. I'm going against the grain on this. This is where I set my GPS mark, so I don't really need to have that spraying. There's a small little sliver out there. Yeah, that's where I had my GPS mark, so I kind of have to, yeah, it's good. I'm gonna call it good right now. Right about here. Let me get in there. There it is. And that'll pick up that little sliver that I got right there that I missed. And I've got corn all up and through there as well, and we're gonna go see how that looks. And when I get over there, I'm gonna start filming again. I need all my attention focused right there in a minute.